Live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University getting set for the second game of our doubleheader. Golden Tigers of Tuskegee hosting the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Lady Badgers win the first one 8-1, and we're already underway here in the second ball game. On the mound for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee, Kamaya Hampton. She'll be tossing the softball for Tuskegee in this contest. Hampton on the season, 7-2 overall, ERA of 2.1, and at the plate for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill, it is Rika Hinton. Hinton with a two-run shot in the first ball game in their explosion in that eighth or seventh inning to put icing on the cake in that 8-1 win. Hampton with a 1-2 count here after she throws that pitch in for a strike on Hinton for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. So Hampton on the season, first team all-conference, 10th appearance for her, 9th start of the season for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee as she throws that ball out of the zone to take the count to 2-2. 49 and a third innings pitched by Hampton on the season, 50 hits, 25 runs, 15 of those earned, 12 base on balls, and 42 strikeouts for the grad student from Pinson, Alabama. 2-2 count here on Hinton, and we're underway in the second ball game. Change up by Hampton is out of the zone. So that'll take the count to 4 here as we get started in our second ball game. Glad you could join us for our coverage on GTS, and Charles Ward here along with our entire production crew on the campus of Tuskegee University. This one swatted out the right field and out of play behind first base. So we'll reset it with a 3-2 count, and Hinton back in the box for the Lady Badgers. Tuskegee now with their first game loss, they fall to 15-4 and 10-1 in the SIAC, their first conference loss of the season. Spring Hill bounces up to 14-11 and 9-1 in SIAC play. Hampton on a 3-2. This one inside and called a strike there. She caught the inside corner on the pitch. Hinton thought she had a base on balls there, but instead the call made behind the plate by James Walden, and the strikeout on Hinton to get things started here in game number 2. So that'll bring up Asha Carter. Carter will be followed by Mackenzie King in the lineup. She swings at the first pitch and fouls it off and out of play to the left. Situation defensively for Tuskegee. Hampton on the mound. Nala Strange Lindley behind the plate at first. Alexis Thompson at second. It'll be Aaron Beckley at second base. At short, Carolyn Ross. She'll move from second to shortstop in this ball game. And at third base for Tuskegee, it'll be Morales playing at third, moving from short to third. And this one chopped at the plate and foul as it rolls down the first baseline. So Morales at third, and in left field, it'll be McNair, Shannon McNair, and then Victoria Harrison in center field, and Kaylee Roldan will be out in right field for Tuskegee. So that's the defense for Tuskegee. Hinton, Carter, King, followed by Aarons, Pierce, and Gordon. And she'll be followed by Pittman, Pacheco, and Glowacki in the lineup for the Lady Bears in terms of their hitting order. Right now, Hinton has been retired on a strikeout. And Asha Carter at the plate now with a 2-2. Kamaya rocks and fires for Tuskegee. Change up with slow roller fielded at third. Strike over the first base on the throw there by Morales to get the out on a deep stretch there by Alexis Thompson at first to get out number 2 here in the top of the first inning. So Carter is retired on the 5-3 put out, and Melanie King, beg your pardon, Mackenzie King comes to the plate now for the Lady Badgers. Hampton starts her out with a strike right down the middle. First inning action of our second ball game. 0-1 count on Mackenzie King. Hampton, that pitch pushes off the plate, counted 1-1. Tuskegee with its 10-game conference win streak broken in the first ball game here of the doubleheader. 1-1 on the count on King. This one popped up, and Strange Lindley can't get to it coming out of her crouch down the third base line. So we'll reset. Count at 1-2. As King steps back in. Hampton, a first-team all-conference line, driving through on the left side, just under the arms of Morales at third base. So King is aboard here in the top of the first for the Lady Badgers with a single out into left field. So that'll bring up Bethany Aarons. She homered in the first ball game. And she takes that first pitch over from a strike from Hampton. Try to get you an update from Tuskegee baseball, which is playing across the campus today here at Tuskegee University. And that pitch out of the zone, 1-1. Nyla Strange-Lindley behind the plate for Tuskegee, doing the catching in this second ball game. Roldan out in right field. 1-1 pitch on its way from Hampton. She rocks and fires, and this one swatted on, and a line drive speared by the shortstop, Carol Ross, to end the first inning, or the top half of it, for the Lady Badgers. So Tuskegee, after silencing the Badgers in the top half of the first, they'll be coming to the plate after this timeout.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. Fans to our left, that's the Tuskegee contingent. A lot of fans mixed in there with Tuskegee loyalists in terms of supporting the program overall. And Tuskegee at the bottom of the first, they will send up Shauna McNair. She'll start things off. She'll be followed by Halloran Beckley, and then followed by Jessica Morales, the top three for head coach Dietrich Randall here in the bottom half of the first, game number 2. And McNair takes that first pitch over for a strike from Leanna Turk. Leanna Turk, a first-team all-conference player for the Lady Badgers. 4.7 ERA, roller down the first base line, and picked up and racing to the bag is Jesselyn Gordon, and she'll beat McNair to the bag for out number 1. So Beckley, the junior from Mississippi, steps in for Tuskegee. Trying to see if she can't get the motor started for the Golden Tigers here in the bottom of the first. Turk, first-team all-conference player, rocks and fires from the circle. That one's high. One ball, no strikes. That one swatted and left the third and out of play. Count at 1-1 as Beckley comes back in to reset. Bottom half of the first, just underway in game 2. Turk fires this one off the plate for 1-2. Good eye there by Beckley at the plate. Beckley, the junior, settling back in, .313 batting average. Turk rocks and fires. This one swatted on and behind the Tuskegee dugout to our left. And we'll reset things at 2-2. premier matchup on this Saturday afternoon. Teams going at it again tomorrow in the rubber match. We'll have the coverage for you on GTSN. This one chopped back at the mound. Turk fields there and fires a bullet over the first base to retire Beckley down the line. So Tuskegee right now 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom of the first. So Jessica Morales now, she's up to the plate. As Turk gets ready with the 0-0 pitch, this one swatted on, chasing down the right field line, and that one's dropped in by Carter down in the right field. Carter trying to go for a basket catch near the foul line. Missed on the catch. The ball fell in play, and down at second base for the Golden Tigers is Morales for Tuskegee. So we really have to count that one as an error out there in right field. That was a very catchable ball that instead of Carter just squeezing it overhead, tried to basket catch it, and she dropped it. Thompson into the box now for Tuskegee after Morales makes it down to second base after the error out in right field. A couple of base hits by Thompson in the first ball game. 2 down here in the bottom of the first and the second contest with Morales down at second base. And Alexis would love to pick her up here with a base hit. Down in the count, 0-1. Takes that second pitch for a ball. That'll make it 1-1 on the first baseman. Two down, bottom of the first. Turk checks the sequence of pitches and fires outside for a ball. Thompson stepping back in for Tuskegee. And pitch in that same location, call the same, 3-1. So Thompson set to step back in there now with a 3-1 count. 2 down, bottom of the first. Morales down at second base. Turk with the pitch. This one hit out hard to right field, circling there, and this time the catch made over the shoulder by Carter. Had some difficulty with the soft one, but the line drive, she's able to squeeze it for the out. So Thompson retired, and so is Tuskegee in the bottom of the first. They threaten, but they leave Morales at second base, and we go into the second inning.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. Second inning we go, top of the second. It'll be Destiny Pierce, followed by Jesseline Gordon, and then Taylor Pittman, the 3 for head coach Hannah Fillmore, as they start the top half of the second. First pitch to Pierce is off the plate for ball 1. Kamaya Hampton in the circle for Tuskegee. Delivers here. That pitch in tight. And Pierce ahead in the count early here. And 2 balls, no strikes. And Kamaya getting set now, trying to find that strike zone. Soft wind here, or light wind here inside the complex as Hampton. 3 straight balls in this plate appearance by Destiny Pierce. Hampton with a pitch right down the middle for strike 1. That'll take the count to 3-1. So Hampton having to battle back here after a slow start in this bat to Pierce. 3-1 delivery here. This one on the corner for strike 2. So from 3-0 to full count at 3-2 now as Pierce steps back in. And the payoff pitch coming here from Hampton. This one swatted on and left to third base foul. Hampton 7-2 on the season for Tuskegee. All-conference player a year ago. Named to the preseason all-conference team starting this year as well. On a 3-2. Fouled back our way, and Pierce staying alive on that foul ball. Bottom of the second. Second of a doubleheader. Lady Badgers win the first one 8-1. On a 3-2 here. Here comes Hampton with the pitch. This one popped up into center field. Harrison back near the fence line, catches it as she falls back near the fence for out number 1 here in the top of the second. So Pierce retired after Hampton fell behind to her early in the count. So a good job there by Kamaya to fight back out of that. That'll bring up Jesseline Gordon. And she fouls the first pitch off behind the plate. See if Kamai can get ahead in this count early on. She's up now 0-1, 1 down, second inning. Top half of that. Timeout taken as Kamai adjusts the laces on his shoes and gets set to toe the rubber here at the circle. 0-1 pitch on the way. This one chopped out to left field. McNair in stride, squeezes that on the run for out number 2. So back-to-back flyouts, one to center, this one to left. And now that brings up Taylor Pittman. Second inning action. Hampton rocks and fires, finds the corner with that first pitch. Good pace on that pitch from Kamaya Hampton. They have a little bit more velocity on her fastballs than Monica Rose. But the back-to-back duo is really strong for Tuskegee here. Change of pace by Hampton on a curveball across the plate and quickly ahead 0-2 in the count over Pittman and the Lady Badgers. See if she goes off the plate here. She did, trying to get Pittman to chase. Count goes to 1-2. Two down, top of the second. Pittman in the box. Hampton with the pitch. This one popped up on the infield behind second base, and they all converge, but it falls in between the two of them. Throw down at second base. They'll have a play there at second and an out call there. Pittman trying to stretch that single into a double after she saw that ball fall in center field, and picked up on the run was Harrison in center field, gunned it down to second, and they get the tag on Pittman down at second to end the top of the second inning for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Still tied 0-0. Tuskegee coming to bat. Good fortunes for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee to end the top half of the second inning. Pittman had gotten a base hit out in the center field, tried to stretch it into a double. And after the softball rolled away from Victoria, she was able to catch it and throw it to second and get the put out of Pittman down at second base. So Tuskegee will enter the bottom half of the second. Chance to take a lead in this ball game with 0-0 right now. Tuskegee will send up Caroline Clark, Carol Ross, and then Nyla Strange. Lindley will be the three for head coach Dietrich Randall. If any of those three are able to get on board, it'll be Victoria Harrison to follow. So first time through the batting order for Tuskegee after being retired 1-2-3 in the first. Clark set to step into the box now. As Turk gets set to go to work. Play to resume. Caroline Clark had a single in that first ball game. Takes a look at that first pitch, which is over for a strike. Defense straight away for Caroline Clark. Had a bullet up the middle to get that base hit in the first ball game. Takes a look at a change up there, which is off the plate by Turk. Turk in her 12th appearance for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. This will be her 8th start. And Clark late on a fastball there. That'll make the count 1-2. Nobody out here, bottom of the second. Clark squares and takes the ball outside, and that'll take the count to 2-2. Tuskegee trying to get a base runner here in the bottom half of the second. Let's see if they can't get their scoring started a little bit earlier. They didn't get that run in that first ball game until bottom of the seventh, after some damage by the Lady Badgers in the 6th and 7th inning. Clark fouls one off to the right side. To have Eric Tabor take a look at his production truck over here to behind the Lady Badgers bench. That one hit with a resounding thud. Clark again, this one another bullet up the middle, and she's aboard for Tuskegee. Just hit that one right back up the middle on a 2-2 pitch. So Caroline Clark is aboard for the Golden Tigers here in the bottom of the second. So Carol Ross now on for Tuskegee to bat. Ross at shortstop in this second ball game. Clark aboard. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Squaring the bunt, got it down the third base line. Good bunt there. Throw down to the first base line. They'll get Clark or Ross there. But Caroline pushes down the second on the sacrifice by Ross. So Ross retired, one down. Nyla Strange Lindley set to step in, and Caroline Clark down at second base. Coach Randall and the Golden Tigers trying to see if they can manufacture a run here in this bottom of the second inning. Nyla Strange Lindley didn't play in the first ball game, catching here in the second contest. Clark singled to get on, and the sacrifice got her down to second. Nyla takes the first pitch off the plate for ball one. Leanne Turk, first team all conference, and a line drive down the ground to the third baseman, fielded there by Pacheco and across the diamond to retire Nyla Strange Lindley, but that will allow Caroline Clark to be pushed over to third base after the sacrifice by Lindley. So Lindley retired now with two down here in the bottom of the second inning. And that'll bring up and hit on a pitch there right away was Victoria Harrison for Tuskegee. So Victoria will take first base, hit by that pitch. And we'll have runners at the corners now with Clark at third and Harrison at first. And now Kaylee Roldan into the box. With runners at the corners, 2 down. A chance to push a run across for Tuskegee in the bottom of the second. Turk with the pitch. And that one's over for a strike. Oh, 1 count on Roldan. Turk with the pitch. Same spot, same call. Good pitch there by Turk. They went right back to that same location and got the call from James Walton from behind the plate. So Roldan behind in the count now, 0-2. Clark at third, Harrison at first. That pitch, they went back to the same general area, but this one a little bit further off the plate, trying to see if they couldn't get Kaylee to chase after that, but she did not. So the count at 1-2. Chopped on to the third base side, fielded there and across the diamond. The throw is true from Pacheco over to Gordon. And Tuskegee threatens there. They leave 2 runners on here in the bottom of the second. We go to the third, still scoreless.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
This ball game taking shades of the first one. Tuskegee and Lady Badgers didn't score until late in that first contest. We're headed into the top of the third right now, scoreless, as the Lady Badgers come back to the plate. They will send up Jenna Pacheco, the third baseman. She'll be followed by Amanda Glowacki, and then they'll go back to the top of the order here in the top of the third. Kamaya Hampton, first pitch to the plate to Pacheco, is up and off the plate for ball 1. No question about it, these 2 teams are going to be big factors in terms of settling the West as it relates to the tournament and teams appearing in the tournament. Right now, number 1 and number 2. Tuskegee coming in at number 1, Spring Hill at number 2 in the West. Badgers won the first one 8-1 to break that 10-game conference streak for the Golden Tigers as Hampton fires a pitch in, and that's over for a strike to make the count 2-2 against Pacheco for the Lady Badgers. Two-two count. And this one on the ground, fielded by Thompson right at her at first base. So Alexis picks that up and takes a short little step and steps on the bag for out number 1 here in the top of the third. So Pacheco retired. And that'll bring up Glowacki. Glowacki looks at the first pitch for a ball. Her first time to the plate, top of the third. Slow movement in the batting orders because the pitchers have been so efficient here over the first 3 innings. 1 ball, no strikes. This one inside corner. Hampton found it, makes it 1-1 on the count. 1 down, top of the third. Pitch from Kamaya. Over but low, and the count at 2-1. Nice crowd on hand for this doubleheader. Even back behind center field. That pitch just tied up Glowacki there. She was not able to move the bat, and it comes over for a strike at 2-2. 1 down, top of the third. Hampton even on the count. Toes to rubber, squares, and fires. Strike 3 called. Hampton happy about that pitch. Got it across for the strike on the outside corner. So she retires Glowacki on the strikeout. And we go back to the top of the order for the Lady Badgers. That'll be Rika Hinton stepping back in. She struck out in the top of the first to get things going. Pitch there, line drive and down for a base hit in left field. So Hinton aboard. Seeing Hampton for the second time, struck out the first time and then jumped on this first pitch here at the top of the third to get her first base hit of this ball game. She homered late in that first contest to blow things open for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Now, Asha Carter at the plate. Carter takes a look at that first pitch, spits on that for ball 1. Tailgaters behind the fence as Carter looks at strike 1 from Hampton. Kind of a ceremonial cookout area there in center field behind home plate. A couple of tailgaters in the back of the pickups, SUVs. Carter. And they throw down the second base on the steal. Now they're going over to the third, and diving in there is Hinton for the Lady Badgers. At the plate, the pitch was called a strike on Carter. Hinton stole second base, and then the throw by Nyla Strange-Lindley down to second base, offline, and then Hinton able to take third on that throw. So she's at third, 1-2 count on Carter. Pitch down the third base line, and that was whiffed there at third base by Morales. And the Lady Badgers, as a result, are able to put the first run across with Hinton headed to the plate. And the chopper by Carter was mishandled by Morales at third. So Spring Hill gets the first run of the ball game as Carter pushes one down the line. That was faultily handled by Morales at third base. So that'll bring up Mackenzie King now as the Lady Badgers lead at 1-0. Carter at first. And another strike called in there on Mackenzie King. She'll step out. Hampton finds a spot with an 0-2 count with 2 down. Hampton for the 0-2. This one chipped at the plate as Mackenzie King stays alive with the foul ball. And Carter has to go back to first base. She was on the move on that pitch. Slight crosswind from right to left here in the softball complex. Hampton, and the foul off by King to stay alive. Lady Badgers with a 1-0 lead. Carter got on a squibbler to third base on an error by Morales. Down to second base on a throw. A throw is high there, and taking second base is Carter. The count at the plate at 1-2 on Mackenzie King. 2 down, top of the third. Hampton with the pitch. That one swung on and missed by King. So King strikes out, but some damage done there by the Lady Badgers in the top of the third. Hinton comes across to score after she got on board and a stolen base, got over to the third and able to score on the error at third as Carter got aboard. So at the end of the top half of the third, Tuskegee trailing at 1-0 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities, healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University Golden Tigers trailing for the first time in the ball game, 1-0 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. At the plate for the Golden Tigers, Shauna McNair looks at that first pitch, and it's over for a strike from Turk. So behind in the count, 0-1. Turk rocks and fires. This one inside half of the plate. That's a ball. That'll make it 1-1 as McNair steps out. Turk for the 1-1 pitch. Leaning back was McNair. The pitch in tight. So she's ahead in the count, 2-1. Bottom of the third. 1-0 lead for Spring Hill. That's called a strike there as Turk found the outside corner to even the count at 2-2. McNair leads the teams in the Tuskegee's team in runs scored with 17. Swings at this pitch on the ground. Throw toward first base, and beating that throw out is McNair. Taking a first whiff at it was Pacheco at third base. It got past her glove, but in the hole was Pierce. And she was deep in the hole as she was able to field it. Got a throw over, but too late as McNair is on with a base hit for Tuskegee. So that's a good start to the bottom of the third for the Golden Tigers. McNair at first base. Beckley now on the follow. Beckley grounded out to the shortstop her first time around. Bunting this time. Got it at the center. And near the circle out front, Turk throws Beckley out at first base. But Allen does her job in terms of pushing McNair down to second base on the bunt. So one down here now in the bottom of the third for Tuskegee as Morales comes to the plate. McNair at second. Jessica Squares in the box. Turk with the pitch. This one chopped on and foul out of play right side. Oh, 1 count on Morales. Turk readies and fires. This one shot on to the first baseman and fielded there by Gordon. But over the third base goes McNair for Tuskegee as Alexis Thompson comes to the plate. So Tuskegee doing a good job of hitting behind the runners here. See if they can finally get it across. Thompson sets. She hit a line drive out the left fielder last time, but that was caught. This one she chops on. This one to the second baseman, bobbled momentarily, but on the throw, they retired Thompson at first base. So Tuskegee again threatens to get a runner all the way over to third here in the bottom of the third, and that's where they stay parked. So we head to the fourth. Lady Badgers with a 1-0 lead.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Hello, Tuskegee fans. My name is Pamela Perkins, head volleyball coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. You know.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. Golden Tigers trailing the Lady Badgers 1-0. At the plate for the Lady Badgers is Bethany Ahrens. As Kamaya Hampton facing her for the second time. Ahrens lined out to the shortstop. Ross, her last time up, takes that first pitch off the plate for ball one. So Tuskegee threatening in the bottom of the third, just not able to push across a run. To go into the fourth now. Hampton rocks and fires and got a strike at the corner called there by James Walton behind the plate. Count to 1-1. Good change of pace on a curveball there by Hampton inside the circle. Boy, she really pulled the string on that one. All Ahrens could do was just watch that one as it floated across the plate for strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here top of the fourth. Pitch. Trying to snatch that one back into the zone was Nyla Strange-Lindley from behind the plate. It'll go 2-2 on the count. Hampton rocks and fires for Tuskegee. Same area, trying to get Ahrens to chase that one off the plate, and it'll take the count full to 3-2. This was billed as a ball game between two teams that had won their last 10 conference contests in a row. And Ahrens coaxes the walk out of Hampton as that count went to full. So Ahrens is aboard here in the top of the fourth on the walk. And that'll bring up Destiny Pierce. Pierce takes a look at their first ball as Ahrens down at first base. Lady Badgers with a 1-0 lead. Pop up right in their tracks out in right field as Kaylee Rodan didn't even have to move for that softball to come down and parachute it into her glove for out number 1 here in the top of the fourth. So Pierce retired. And that'll bring up Jesseline Gordon, the first baseman. Gordon doing a good job defensively for the Lady Badgers. Swings at that first pitch and fouls it off to the left side. Ahrens down at first after she drew the walk. 1 down, no balls, 1 strike here to Gordon. Here's the pitch on the ground. Thompson had that one eat her up at first base and got by her out in the right field. Sharply hit ball there by Gordon. And Thompson trying to square up on it, but it just kind of hopped over her shoulders. We'll score that a hit that time for Gordon, so that will push Aarons down to second base, and Gordon is aboard. At the plate for the Lady Badgers now, Taylor Pittman. Pittman, first time up, got on a throwing error after she singled and then advanced on the throw. Chopper out front now. Nobody at first covering. Now finally getting over there in just a nick of time for Tuskegee. Covering on that play was Beckley. Beckley coming over from second base and got there just in the nick of time, but the runner is able to advance for Spring Hill as Pittman's retired. And that'll bring up Jenna Pacheco with runners at third and second. Pacheco takes a look at the first pitch from Hampton, which is off the plate. Pacheco shot retired on a 3-4 put out last time around. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs here. Bad pitch from Hampton. Off the plate to make it 2 balls, no strikes. Kamaya with a lot of velocity on the fastballs. This sequence just hadn't found the plate yet. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 down, top of the 4th. Runners in scoring position for the Lady Badgers. That pitch splits the plate from Hampton to make the count 2-1. Aaron at third base for the Lady Badgers. This pitch swung on and fouled back by Pacheco. And all 2s on the board right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Aaron at third. Gordon down at second base. Pitch popped up and out of play again. So they'll reset it here. Tuskegee trailing 1-0 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Back here tomorrow for the rubber match between these teams at the softball complex. Change up by Hampton. That one's out of the zone, and the count taken to 3-2 now. Three-two pitch on the ground. Shortstop and in right between the legs of Ross. Had a runner coming in front of her. Lost sight of the softball and went right between the wickets. So as a result, the Lady Badgers push across a couple of runs. But Aaron's crossing first and then Gordon following her. And right now down at first base after the play is Pacheco. It's definitely got to go down as an error there. And Ross at shortstop. That one went right between her legs. So Ross aboard, or Pacheco down at first base on the error. And the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill now leading at 3-0 after the miscue at shortstop. And that'll bring up Amanda Glowacki at the plate. Glowacki takes the first pitch. I think that was a call to strike by James Walden behind the plate. That pitch up and high in the zone on Glowacki. Trying to get the scoreboard straight here. It's kept in the dugout. And first pitch was called a ball, so it's 2 balls and no strikes to Glowacki as Hampton sets. That pitch down the middle for a strike. Take it to 2-1. 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Two already across for Spring Hill. They lead 3-0. 2-1 pitch. On the ground, Hampton fields at the circle and tosses over to Thompson. And they retire the Lady Badgers on that play. But the Lady Badgers come up with 2 more here in the top of the 4th. And they build a 3-0 lead as the Golden Tigers come to the plate in the bottom half. Back live here at Tuskegee University at the softball complex. Tuskegee falling behind now 3-0 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Gave up 2 in the top half of the 4th. And the Golden Tigers now will be sending Carolyn Clark here in the bottom of the 4th, followed by Carol Ross and Nyla Strange-Lindley. The 3 for head coach Dietrich Randall. To start the bottom of the 4th, Tuskegee got to climb right back into the softball game, trailing 3-0 after giving up 2 in the last frame and then 1 in the 3rd. Leanne Turk, first-team all-conference pitcher for the Lady Badgers, certainly likes this situation, pitching with a lead. As Caroline steps in, singled her last time up. Last bat in the first ball game, she singled there. See if she can continue that cycle here in the bottom of the 4th as Turk readies and fires. Clark takes the first pitch high for Tuskegee. This ball game zipping along already in the bottom of the 4th. Turk with the pitch, that one off the plate. Caroline watches that one sail by. 2 balls, no strikes. And the senior from Tuskegee, Alabama, steps back in. Tuskegee, I think that is. Tuskegee. As Clark takes that pitch off the plate, and the count goes to 3-0. The 3-0 pitch from Turk, and that's a walk by Caroline Clark. Good job there by her to eye those balls. Took 4-pitch walk, and she's down at first base to start the bottom of the 4th. Carol Ross now set to check into the box as Caroline Clark is down at first base. Trying to see if they can move things along here to get back into the softball game. Ross with that error in the field prior to this at bat takes that first pitch low and inside. One ball, no strikes. Turk with the pitch. Clark takes that pitch off of the corner for strike 1. So count at 1-1. Ross retired on a fielder's choice her last time up. And takes another pitch on the corner for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Carol set to step back in. Caroline Clark down at first. She drew a walk. Chopper and fouled at the plate by Ross. Nyla Strange-Lindley awaits. She's on deck. Cross ready. Ross, that is ready in the box for a 1-2 on its way from Turk and right back at the mound. They go to second base for 1, slides over the first, and they get the double play there. Good execution there by the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. As they empty the bases there on that double play up the middle. Clark was on her way to the second. She was retired there, and a sharply hit ball right back to the mound. And starting that double play was Turk from the circle. So the base is cleared now. And this one popped up, and chasing and coming in from center field is Hinton to make that grab. And after the double play, the batters wiped off the bags, and we go to the top of the fifth with a 3-0 lead for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Top of the fifth we go. Lady Badgers with a 3-0 lead. They'll go back to the top of their order as Rika Hinton will step in. Hinton got on in the third base, stole a base there, and eventually scored. Nice shot of our camera crew there looking down at the field. Boy, I don't even know where that camera's positioned. Ogden Bass is pulling off some magic here. I don't know. I think he's got a drone or something around here. What that was. Nice shot, though. 2 balls, no strikes to Hinton as she steps back in the box. Hinton, the SIAC Player of the Week last week. In that crossover setting where all the teams meet in one location, this time in Hoover, Alabama, for about 7 games. And over those 7 games for the Badgers of Spring Hill, Hinton 10 of 19 hitting. And just an outstanding performance by her. Scored 15 runs and 7 RBI in that ball game. 7 base on balls and 7 stolen bases over the course of play over those 7 games. Right now in the box with a 3-1 count, and the Lady Badgers leading at 3-0. Pitch from Hampton, and that's a 4-pitch or a 5-pitch walk there to Hampton to get things started here in the top of the fifth. 3-0 lead for the Lady Badgers. Hinton's on to start the top of the fifth, drew the base on balls, and that'll bring up Oscar Carter. And Asha got on last time on an error, and a throw down to second. Another stolen base there by Hinton as she slides in. And a real threat to go went right on the first pitch. Pitch was called a ball on Carter, so she's ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. Hampton rocks and fires from the circle. Chopped on and missed by Carter at the plate. That'll make it a 1-1. This time Hinton stays put at second base. Hampton on the pitch, this time over at third. No throw there. Trying to catch up to cover there was Carol Ross from the shortstop position, because Morales at third was playing tight, anticipating a bunt, so she couldn't take the throw. And an easy steal there by Hinton at third base. Literally nobody there until Ross trying to catch up with her at the bag. So she's at third, and the bunt there at the front of the plate. Thompson fires to first. They get the out there, and they freeze Hinton at third. So 2 down here in the top of the 5th. King is retired. Hinton sitting at third base and looking for some help from Bethany Aaron. She'll swing at the first pitch and comes up empty. Good pitch there by Kamaya to get that one off the plate, and Aaron's chasing for Spring Hill. Tuskegee certainly aware of the fact they do not want another run to be pushed across by the Lady Badgers. Hampton with the pitch. This one just a bit off the plate on the outside. That'll make it 1-1. Hinton started the inning with a base on ball, stole second, able to come around on third. And that one's a strike at the corner by Kamaya to make it 1-2. So Hampton 1 pitch away from getting out of this semi-jam on the 1-2 pitch. That one's chopped on and fouled by Aarons to stay alive. 2 down here, top of the 5th. One ball, 2 strikes. Hinton at third. This one off the plate by Hampton. And we're even at 2-2. Two delivery from Hampton. Swung on and missed. Took a little bit off of that and fooled Aarons on the play. And Aarons strikes out on the changeup there to end the top of the 5th and end the threat by the Lady Badgers. They leave Hinton stranded at third. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Tuskegee trailing at 3-0.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
We are back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. 3-0 lead for the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Victoria Harrison stepping in now for Tuskegee. Trying to see if they can get that 0 off the scoreboard as she takes a look at that first pitch from Turk, which is over for a strike. Just trying to pan to see if we can get an update from Washington Field in terms of the scores with baseball action here on this Saturday afternoon. Tuskegee winning yesterday over the Golden Bears of Miles College 15-6 in a single ball game, and double header here today, one starting at 12, the other at 3, but still no report at this point. 1 ball, 1 strike on Victoria Harrison. She'll take a change up on the corner. That'll take the count to 1-2. Bottom of the 5th, Tuskegee trailing it 3-0 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Lady Badgers win the first ball game here, 8-1. That was the first of a 3-game set. They're ahead in the second one, 3-0, and we're back here tomorrow with the finisher at 1 o'clock. This one wide of third on the swing by Harrison, so she'll come back to the box facing a 1-2. Heard Coach Randall talk about it at the beginning of this first ball game today, saying that Tuskegee had to play within itself, minimize its mistakes. And up the middle, Harrison shoots one through for a base hit for Tuskegee. So Shears aboard here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yeah, Tuskegee just not able to minimize a couple mistakes in that early ball game. Gave up a couple of late home runs. And that was the difference for the Lady Badgers to take that win as Kaylee Roldan steps in now for Tuskegee in the bottom of the 5th. Victoria on with a base hit. First pitch to Kaylee is off the plate. Ball 1. Tuskegee trying to get something going late in this ball game. Zeros pinned on the scoreboard thus far for them. Roldan takes a pitch down low. So Turk squares. Roldan squares low in the box. Harrison at first, and here's the 2-0 pitch. That one over for a strike from Turk. Roldan trying to hit behind this runner if she can, if she's hitting it on the ground. Obviously would love to find a gap somewhere. See if she can push that issue. Swings at one on the line drive. She did find it left side just under the outstretched arms of Pacheco at third base and in the left field for a base hit for Roldan. Good job of hitting there by Kaylee. So she's aboard at first and she'll push Harrison down to second. They go station to station after her base hit to left. Now Coach Hannah Fillmore coming to the circle for the Lady Badgers. They have it huddled there. Pretty sure she won't be taking Turk out of this ball game. Turk, a first-team all-conference player. So that's more of a conversation about some strategy as Coach Fillmore goes to the Lady Badger dugout, and the conference breaks up. Back behind the plate comes Taylor Pittman. And digging around the circle is Leanna Turk. At the line, it's McNair back at the plate for Tuskegee at the top of the order. And she fakes a bunt there, and runners hold and takes ball 1. Shauna McNair took that pitch for a ball. Runners at second and first. Tuskegee well within the reach of this. Nobody out here. The bunt there by McNair. They'll try to gun her at first. They got her at first, but a good job of execution on the bunt there by Shauna McNair, and she will be pushing those runners over to third and second as a result. But she's retired down the first baseline on that bunt. So 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th, and to the plate comes Alleran Beckley for Tuskegee. Harrison at third. Roldan at second. As Beckley takes the first pitch over for a strike. 1 down. Big gap there between center and right field, if she could push it that way. Aiming that way, but popped it up. Going back and coming in. This one dropped again by the right fielder. Carter once again trying a basket catch instead of over the head, and she dropped the softball, and Tuskegee will get their first run as a result. So Carter with some difficulty out there in right field. And coming across to score for Tuskegee was Harrison. And Roldan pushes over the third base. And down at second after that ball was dropped was Beckley. So some good fortune there for Tuskegee. Second time around, an error on Carter in right field. At the plate for Tuskegee now is Jessica Morales. Jessica in a 1-1 count with 1 down. So Tuskegee gets their first run of the ball game, trailing 3-1. One out here in the bottom of the fifth. This one shot out towards shortstop, fielded there, and they will be able to double off the runner down at second base as Beckley was headed toward third on the line drive, but did not freeze, not able to get back in time. So she's doubled off at second, but Tuskegee cuts into that Lady Badger lead at the bottom of the fifth. The lead now 3-1. We head into the top of the sixth.
For five-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Back live here on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Tuskegee softball presented by the Alabama Department of Public Health. Tuskegee trailing at 3-1 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. TU just able to push across his first run of the ball game in the bottom of the fifth. We go to the top of the sixth now, and at the plate for the Lady Badgers, it's Destiny Pierce. Pierce flew out the right field her last time up. Kamaya Hampton fires a strike to get this sequence going. Same pitch, same result. Hampton good on that pitch, so it's an 0-2 count on Pierce as she steps back in. Kamaya would love to have a 3-up and 3-down inning here and get that offense back on the field for Tuskegee. Hampton, 0-2 pitch, and called strike three. So Pierce sits down just as quickly as she got up there on the strikeout, and that'll bring up Jesseline Gordon, the first baseman for the Lady Badgers. So Hampton retires the first batter in this inning on a strikeout. Gordon singled her last time up, swings this time, and swats one wide of first base and foul. Hampton ready to go to work. And the pitch. Change of pace, but bounced out one up there to make it 1-1. One down, this one swatted on. This time Thompson trying to fight it off in fair territory. That one eats her up again. And down to first base goes Gordon. And an error there on Alexis Thompson at first base. So Gordon is aboard, and here comes Taylor Pittman back to the batter's box. And she'll swing and miss at that first pitch. So Gordon aboard at first. And Hampton with that pitch trying to get Gordon or Pittman to go after something off the plate. That one started near the zone but sailed out of play or out of the zone, and the count goes to 1-1. One down here, top of the sixth inning. That pitch on the corner for a strike by Kamaya. No doubt about it, she has extreme control as a pitcher. Sometimes as a pitcher, it's not a strike you want to throw, but something enticing that's not a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This one chopped on in right field and out of play, just outside of the chalk down the line. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down here, top of the sixth. Gordon down at first base for Spring Hill. And Taylor Pittman at the plate. She and Kamaya Hampton into a battle. Calling for a pitch in tight. They got it there, and a half swing there by Pittman. She's retired. Good sequence there. Good call by Nyla Strange-Lindley to go for a pitch in tight, and Hampton obliged by hitting the target. And as a result, Pittman is down on strikes. So 2 down here in the top of the 6th, both retired on strikeouts. But a runner at first base. And at the plate, it's Jenna Pacheco, the third baseman for the Lady Badgers. She takes the first pitch for a strike. Hampton rocks and fires. This one chopped on the ground to the second baseman. Fielded cleanly there by Beckley at second, and over to Thompson to retire the Lady Badgers in the top of the 6th. They had a runner aboard, but they'll leave her stranded. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Tuskegee with still a little bit of work to do. They trail 3-1 to the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Hello, Tuskegee fans. My name is Pamela Perkins, head volleyball coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. TU, you know.
Thank you, Coach Perkins. We're back here live at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. You see parts of the Tuskegee campus in the background. If you've never been to this campus, you ought to make it your business to do so. Beautiful campus full of a lot of history and a lot of progress going forward. So many different dynamic programs on the horizon for Tuskegee to continue building on its legacy as one of America's treasured universities. The aerodynamics program getting restarted at Tuskegee, along with some of the more entrenched programs at Tuskegee that just really lends to the historic value of this campus and its legacy. Thompson drills one out in the right field that gets things started here in the bottom of the 6th inning for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. So Alexis is aboard. She's got to be breathing at least a sigh of relief after a couple of blunders there at first base, a couple of errors by her, very uncharacteristic for her. But she's made up for it here, at least for the moment, at first base after shooting one out to right field for a base hit. She'll be substituted on the base pads as Shauna McNair comes on. So Carolyn Clark at the place, and McNair will be subbing on the base pads for Thompson. And Clark got a walk her last time up, singled the bat prior to that. So Caroline, chance here perhaps to deliver for Tuskegee to cut into that 3-1 deficit, bottom of the 6th. Shauna McNair, twin sister to Shauna. And that pitch up and out of the zone. Caroline stepping back in. Ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Took that pitch on the inside corner, and that one called a strike by James Walden on the inside corner. Drew a quick look there from Caroline Clark as she was stepping out, assuming she had ball 3. 2 balls, 1 strike. Turk fires. This one swung on and fouled back by Clark at the plate, and that'll take it to 2-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Tuskegee trailing by 2, 3-1. Alexis Thompson got on with a single to right field. McNair with trading places with her at the base pad. 2-2 count to Clark, and she finds some space left side and through the hole for a base hit. That's her second base hit of this ball game. And she will push McNair down to second base and keep the line moving here for the Golden Tigers. Good job there by Caroline Clark. Clark, second team all-conference player, probably more so because of her pitching versus her work with the bat. But she does a good job there and gets that single. And she'll move McNair down to second. At the plate now for Tuskegee, Carol Ross. And we'll get a substitute runner for Clark after she does a good job of pushing that ball into left field for the base hit. Kia Brown will take the base pads for Tuskegee. So speed out there with McNair and Brown, and to the plate, Cal Ross for Tuskegee. Still nobody out here, bottom of the 6th. Turk fires. That pitch off the plate for ball 1. Tuskegee certainly within striking distance here. Bottom of the 6th. 1 ball, no strikes to the second baseman, Carol Ross, or to shortstop Ross in this ball game. She'll shoot one out into right field. Catch made there. And firing back into the infield. A new player out in right field for the Lady Badgers as Abigail Christ, the freshman from New Orleans. And Chris with the catch overhead with the 2 hands, as more traditional, makes that, and that's 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. So Ross retired on the fly out. Runners still. And first out of this inning. Coach Randall now going to make a substitution. Instead of sending up Lindley, he will send up Monica Rose. Rose, although noted for her pitching for the Golden Tigers, .750 batting average at 304. She's at the plate. First pitch there from Turk is off the plate for ball 1. 1 down, bottom of the 6th. Tuskegee trailed 3-1. McNair down at second. Brown over at first. Substitute runners in this ball game. Pitch, and Rose takes that first pitch across the plate. Down for a strike. That'll make it 1-1. First pitch was a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Turk fires. And trying to frame that one up behind the plate was Pittman, but no call there. That'll make it 2 balls, 1 strike. Rose settles in the box. Fouls that one back to the screen to make it 2-2. Two on for Tuskegee. They trail by 2, 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Up the middle, and a hard hit ball and through for a base hit for Rose. At the plate, they come with the throw, and that's too late. Diving in there is McNair to score for Tuskegee. And they will hold Brown at second base, but Monica Rose in the first ball game pitching, and this time coming in as a substitute pinch hitter, and drives on up the middle for a base hit. So Rose with a good job there as she took Strange Lindley's place in the lineup, and she delivers with a base hit up the middle to score a run. Three-2 the score now. Now Coach Hannah Fillmore taking the opportunity to change pitchers here in the bottom of the 6th inning after she sees their deficit cut to 3-2. They will go with a new pitcher. That's Lauren Glass, the senior from Mobile, Alabama. And we'll tell you more about her after we take a timeout. So the Golden Tigers finally able to get through on Leanna Kirk, the first team all-conference player. And they'll chase her with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. She left with a 2-2 count. And now on the mound for the Lady Badgers is Lauren Glass, the senior from Mobile, 5.16 ERA, 2 wins, 1 losses on the season. This will be her 9th appearance. 19 innings pitched, 31 hits, 17 runs, 14 of those earned, no base on balls, and 14 strikeouts. As she comes in and delivers her first pitch for a strike against Victoria Harris. Harris singled her last time up, chops out a pitch there, and fouls it off at the plate. So Tuskegee now within a run of the Lady Badgers. Victoria at the plate, 1 down, 2 runners aboard. And Harris watches that pitch go down low. Nyla Strange-Lindley down at first base. One ball, 2 strikes. Chopped on and foul again at the plate. Brown down at second base for Tuskegee. So Victoria with a chance to bring this softball game to even if she can get one in play here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Glass. Readies and fires. This one chopped out to center field. That's going to be a gapper there all the way to the fence. It will roll. That'll send one to the plate, turning and going and putting the brakes on at third base. And holding it there was Nyla Strange-Lindley for Tuskegee. So Victoria Harrison pushes one to the fence line to push across the run to get things tied at 3 each here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Good job there by the grad student from Mississippi. So Harrison aboard. And Tuskegee scores to tie it at 3. And Kaylee Rodan sets in now. Glass still on the mound. Tuskegee ties it at 3. And only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Rodan takes the first pitch over for a strike. And down at second base is Harrison, and over at third, Nyla Strange-Lindley for the Golden Tigers. Lindley takes a look at that pitch, and back-to-back strikes there by Glass to make it 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Squaring up and hitting one down the third base line. Looking back, the runner there, throwing across the diamond, and the throw at plate is late. And Lindley scores, and they got away with the pitch there, and that one would allow Victoria Harrison to score as well. So, with Kaylee Rodan getting that ball in play down the third base line, that started the sequence. They threw the first to retire her, but with the throw to the plate that was errant, crossing the plate was Harrison. And following her are Nyla Strange-Lindley first, and then Victoria Harrison following her. So Tuskegee has created some damage of their own here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead it 5-3. And how about that in Tuskegee fashion there? The standard coming through On some good play, they lead it 5-3. 2 down, Chopper at the plate. Down the first base line, they will retire McNair, but that's after Tuskegee claims the lead by pushing 4 across here in the bottom of the 6th to take a 5-3 lead over the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. We'll take a timeout here on GTSN.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University Golden Tigers with a golden opportunity, to say the least here. Top of the 7th, they push across 4 in the bottom of the 6th. They lead 5-3. A chance to come back from behind to claim this second ball game of a doubleheader when they were trailing it for most of the way through. Got a run in the 5th, and they pick up 4 here in the bottom of the 6th, lead 5-3. And here at the top of the 7th, Glowacki at the plate, and Hampton fires a first pitch strike, and the second pitch is fouled off, and ahead in the count is Kamaya Hampton, 0-2 over Amanda Glowacki. She will be followed by Rika Hinton in their lineup, and then Oscar Carter, or Asha Carter, that is. 0-2 pitch on the way from Hampton. This one fouled on and barely hanging on there is Glowacki with that half swing. Tuskegee with a chance here to come from behind and split with the Lady Badgers here on day 1 of a 3-game series. 0-2 pitch from Hampton. Rocks and fires. Inside corner, but just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Glowacki settles in the box. And Hampton from the circle. Rocks and fires with the pitch. Called strike 3. Good pitch there. They got it right on the corner. Good pitch there by Hampton. Good square up there with the target from Nyla Strange-Lindley from behind the plate. So Glowacki strikes out here to start the top of the 7th. Go back to the top of their order with Rika Hinton in the box. Hinton got a base on balls the last time up. And Hampton with the first pitch right down the middle for strike 1. 1 down, top of the 7th. Tuskegee with a 5-3 lead. Just a few moments ago, prior to the bottom of that 6th inning, looked like it was going to be a twofer for the Lady Badgers. This one popped deep into right field. Bound near the fence line, and Roldan able to run it down there in right field for out number 2. Knew exactly where she was, took a look back there to check that fence line, and they're able to grab that out in right field. Hinton retired out with the pop out. And now that'll leave it up into the hands of Asha Carter. She's going to be substituted for here batting. She was substituted early in that lineup, and it'll be Abigail Christ, the freshman from New Orleans, at the plate. Took the first pitch for a ball. And Hampton rocks and fires on the 0-1. Straight down the middle for a strike. Kamaya can sense that finish line for Tuskegee. A little more velocity on those fastballs coming right at these batters. The freshman steps back in there. And the grad student from Alabama rocks and fires from the circle, and here comes the pitch. That one on the corner as well. Hampton going right at Christ here. to try to end this ball game. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, top of the 7th. Tuskegee up by 2, 5-3. See if they go with a change up or here or something off the plate. 1-2 pitch. Inside they went with that pitch low and at the foot level. Count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, top of the 7th. Tuskegee lost the first ball game 8-1. Rallied here to a 5-3 lead. Top of the 7th, 2 down, 2-2 the count on Christ. Hampton readies, aims, fires, swung on and missed, and Tuskegee comes from behind to win this second ball game of the doubleheader on day 1 of a 2-day series as Kamaya Hampton retires the side here in the top of the 7th, 3 up and 3 down. And boy, you talk about a momentum builder for Tuskegee after trailing in this second ball game for most of it all the way through the 6th inning. But a big challenge, and they were answering that one with a win here in this second ball game, 5-3 over the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. So they split on day 1, 8-1 for the Badgers in the first ball game, 5-3 Tuskegee here in the second. We'll take a break and closing thoughts here and get you set for tomorrow's action here from Tuskegee University. Stay with us on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Back live here at the softball complex, Tuskegee University. News is good here in the second ball game of the doubleheader. Tuskegee able to come from behind to win it 5-3 over the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. So they split on day 1. Tuskegee falls in the first 8-1, and they win the second 5-3. So Tuskegee now will take his mark to 16 and 4, and they will go to 11-1 in SIAC play after defeating the Lady Badgers here in the second of 2 ball games today. We are back here tomorrow with the final ball game, or the rubber game of this 3-game series between the #1 team in the West, the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee, and the #2 team in the West, the Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. 1 o'clock first pitch for that ball game. We'll start our coverage about 10 minutes before the hour with a pregame show to get you set for more action from those ladies from Tuskegee as they win it, coming off the deck to defeat the Lady Badgers in this ball game, the second of 2, 5-3 here at the softball complex at Tuskegee University. That'll do it for our coverage here today on this Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us here as Tuskegee splits with the Lady Badgers. Special thanks to Tuskegee President Dr. Mark Brown and Chief Operating Officer Dr. Rolandis Rice, Executive Director and Producer of the Golden Tiger Sports Network, and the Athletics Director here at Tuskegee University, Reginald Ruffin, and to his tremendous staff in the Athletics Department with Deputy Chief Athletics Director Deborah Rogers, Nick Brown, Game Ops, and Jordan Benson, quickly becoming one of the best sports information directors in all of NC2A sports. And a special thanks to our production crew here on a Saturday afternoon from Tuskegee for some wonderful coverage of Golden Tiger softball here from the softball complex. And they will be right back here tomorrow with the same type coverage. And I'll be here to help them out with the broadcast if they'll allow me to come back. Tuskegee wins it here. Final ball game 5-3 over the Golden Lady Badgers of Spring Hill. Team's back in action tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Make your plans to join us then on GTSN. Charles Ward on behalf of the entire production crew saying thanks so much for watching. And this has been a production of the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make to level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.